Mixed feelings because I have been one of the critics of the HAMP program. The members of the majority have pointed out correctly that this program has been widely criticized for more than 2 years. It has been criticized by the Congressional Oversight Panel, by the SIGTARP, the Special Inspector General for the Troubled Assets Recovery Program, by La Raza, by Elizabeth Warren, and yes, by me. But I have not criticized it for the reasons that the gentleman from Alabama gave. If this bill is keeping a promise, it is not a promise made in open to the American people. It is keeping a promise made in secret to the banks, because the costs of this program are not going to come out of the pockets of the American people. Comes out of the TARP program, and that legislation said that any money not recovered by 2013 has to be recovered from the financial industry. And whoever's president in 2013 has to propose to Congress exactly how it is we're going to get that money back. They can afford it. 30% of all corporate profits are in the financial sector. They can more than afford it. The gentleman from Alabama frequently says that he hates visiting debt on his grandchildren, and I believe him when he says it, but I have good news for him. Unless his grandchildren take a job on Wall Street in the next 2 years, they are not going to have to pay this debt. This debt, if Congress does keep its promise to the American people, will not come from the American people. It will come from Wall Street. It will come from the people who created the mess that we are now trying to clean up. But I have criticized this program because it is not as effective as it should be. It has gone on for 2 years. It is not what we need. The problem, however, has not been what government has made banks do, and this program has been run by the banks. It has not been run by the government. It's been run by the banks. Every horror story about a homeowner being abused is being abused by a bank, the bank handling the mortgage, not by the Department of the Treasury, not by the federal government. So, of course, when they come to see a Republican member of Congress, the Republican member of Congress says, "Oh, isn't it terrible what the federal government made that poor bank do to you?" No, the federal government didn't make the banks do that. My criticism of this program, and my criticism of the Obama administration and how they've run this program, is not that they've made banks do what they've done, but they have let banks do what they've done. This program can work if there are some tough rules that are really enforced, tough on the banks. Mr. Frank mentioned earlier the bankruptcy proposal 3 years ago. I introduced that bill. I have been trying to put requirements on the banks that they let people out. They try to begin to let people out in a very orderly, logical, fair way, through judges, through a judicial process, to begin to get control of the collapse of the housing market. Something has got to happen to stop the continuing fall of housing values. Something has got to happen to end the cycle of foreclosures and diminish home values and more foreclosures. Republicans have offered nothing to do that. We know something can work. We know that we can design a program that will work because it has been done before. In the New Deal, one of the most successful programs in the New Deal was the Homeowners Loan Corporation, which bought mortgages, modified them, worked with homeowners, tailored the mortgages to something the homeowner could buy for those homeowners who really could afford a mortgage, could afford the house they were in, but not the mortgage that they had. And most historians say that program saved the housing market in the Great Depression and saved the middle class. We have got to make something work. There are rules on the horizon. There is now a pending settlement negotiation for the violations of law by the banks and how they've managed mortgages. It is with state's attorney general and it is with the federal regulatory agencies. Some on the Republican side have publicly pressured the federal agencies to lay off the banks. I really cannot tell much difference between what they are doing in the pressure they're putting on banks in an enforcement, on the regulatory agents in an enforcement matter, and what happened a generation ago with the Keating Five. But they're doing it. They're saying, lay off our buddies, the banks, don't come down too hard on them. But there is a real possibility the result of that settlement will be some tough rules. And there is now rulemaking authority. There is now a cop on the block. The CFPB has the authority to develop rules for banks and how they manage mortgages. But something has to work. This has not been working. It can be fixed. It has to be fixed. Something has to work. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields. The gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. The gentlewoman from Illinois is recognized.
I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from North Carolina.
The gentleman from North Carolina is recognized for 1 minute.
I thank my colleague for yielding. And responding to my colleague from North Carolina,